Hello everybody and welcome to our online information session all about tourism here at the School of Social and Environmental Sustainability at the University of Glasgow. My name is Amy, I'm part of the team here in Dumfries and I'm delighted to welcome you to this session today. I am joined by my colleague Dr. Don Macleod, who is our Head of Tourism here at the school and the campus. And we're going to be talking to you a little bit more about the area as a whole here at the school. And then later on, we'll be meeting some of our current students to tell you a little bit more about life in Dumfries. So first of all, I'm delighted to welcome Don. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to dive straight into this presentation and tell you a little bit more about life in Dumfries and our tourism subject area. So we are, of course, the School of Social and Environmental Sustainability here at the Dumfries Campus. We are located in southwest Scotland, so we're about 75 miles from the city of Glasgow. And being the School of Social and Environmental Sustainability, sustainability is at the heart of learning, teaching and research and all that we do here in Dumfries. We have staff and students from across the UK and around the world, and we're joined from more than 40 countries represented on our campus every single year. We have a living laboratory that surrounds our campus. This includes our teaching garden, which you can see on your screen right now, but it also includes the wider region of Dumfries and Galloway, Scotland and the UK. So right here on our doorstep in Dumfries, we're very fortunate to have all sorts of land uses, environments, cultural heritage sites, so much that we get to use in our learning, teaching and research. Here in Dumfries at our school, we have smaller class sizes by design. This means you get much more opportunity to get to know your lecturers, your classmates as well, have that time to have those one-to-one discussions and really dive deep into those conversations and those learnings that we have in class. And we're a very close-knit, friendly community here in Dumfries. So we have a population in the town of Dumfries of around 40,000 people. We have accommodation options within the town. So in town centre in Dumfries and very close to campus as well. We have 3 in total. So we have Dumfries Halls, Laurie Now and Brook House, all available for students, undergraduate and postgraduate. We have a student hub here on campus in our Rutherford McCowan building, and we have our postgraduate hub as well. Now this is dedicated space only for postgraduate students here on campus. There's facilities for study, for private study, group study, as well as kitchen, bathroom facilities, all that kind of thing as well. And that's in Maxwell House here on campus. All of our students and staff have access to our free gym and sports facilities on campus, and this includes fitness classes and clubs as well. We have our library on campus and also our library in Glasgow. So I like to say we have the best of both worlds here. You have our collection here in the library in Dumfries, but we also have our collection in the library in Glasgow City Centre as well on our Gilmore Hill campus. We have the GUDU Student Union, that's the Glasgow University Dumfries Union, based here in Dumfries. And we have excellent transport links across the UK as well. So if you want to go exploring for a little bit, find out a little bit more about the UK or about Scotland, we're in the perfect position to do so here in Dumfries. So at our school and our campus, we have 4 main subject areas that we look at. We have environment, sustainable development, education and tourism. Now, today we are here to talk all things tourism. So I'm delighted now to pass over to my colleague, Don, to tell us a little bit more about tourism here at the School of Social and Environmental Sustainability.
Hello there. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go through a bunch of slides. First of all, the actual people who you're likely to meet teaching, our interdisciplinary team, it says there. Top there, that's me. Social anthropology was my doctorate, but I don't do so much of that at the moment. Below that is Patricia Riganti, who's got expertise in architecture and economics. Below that is Anna, who has expertise in human geography. And then at top again, Lizanne, whose expertise is Scottish history, and she also be looking at heritage. Then we have Guillaume, whose PhD is in tourism management. He does have expertise in unusual places like Kazakhstan and also in things like dark tourism and authenticity. And then below him we have Gotcha, who despite PhD in tourism management, she also has expertise in smart tourism and heritage, marketing and events management. I just really, I suppose, want to draw your attention to the fact that we're a very diverse set of academics with an very wide range of interests, which to an extent is reflected in the 3 programs that you can choose from to take with us. And I can't genuinely do justice to my colleagues here, but just really give you that brief overview. And you will get an idea when we go through the contents of the programs. Next slide, please. That's just a general thing about world-changing research, what the University of Glasgow is as a top-ranking Russell Group. Here, well, the university itself, and here at the school, we've got Education, Language, Policy and Equity, Environmental Science and Sustainability, Glasgow End of Life Studies Group, the University of Glasgow Tourism Studies Group. These are the main research collectives, if you like, in the school. So just to give you an idea of what happens here in Dumfries, in this relatively small institution, we have a big diversity of interests. So we're talking about other staff really here, as well as the Tourism Studies Group. Thanks, Amy. Yeah, right now we've also got a number of research projects happening with one member of our staff in particular, Anna, is looking at something called Just Tour, and she's doing a cross sort of international comparative study of how tourism has impacted various countries, particularly in Europe. We also have one of our lecturers has an expertise as well in heritage and working in Africa and other interesting aspects. We have a whole variety, I would say, research interests here, but here are just a few. Again, there's authenticity and interpretation relating to Kazakhstan there as well. Gives you a flavour of what we can do. Right, the three programs here that we will be offering from 2025. We've got Management of Sustainable Tourism, which has been running now for maybe 6 or 7 years. Sustainable Tourism and Global Challenges has been running for 3 years or something. And we'll have a new one called Tourism and Heritage beginning in 2025. And I'll give you a more detailed overview of them in a minute. We also do PhD research. So there's a lot of opportunities here with our many potential supervisors amongst the staff that I've already discussed for you. All right, in a bit more detail, MSc Management Sustainable Tourism. I will say we share this program with the Adam Smith Business School at the main campus in Glasgow. So you would spend your first semester from September to December in Glasgow doing some of these courses, and they're listed down there: business finance, contemporary issues, managing creativity, innovation, managing strategy, service delivery, etc. You can see there. Some of those core courses you will do in the second semester down here in Dumfries. That's from about January through to April, May. And that will include events management as well as tourism, sustainability and climate change. You'll also do a third optional course, and that might be, I'm going to have a look now at my little sheet, which I've got somewhere. Yeah, the options could be tourism and marketing or sustainable heritage management. And some of you might also audit the advanced research methods course as well. But I'll leave that anyway for the time being. Thanks, Amy. Next up, Sustainable Tourism and Global Challenges. There you go. You can see the core courses. This program happens in Dumfries all for the entire year, effectively. So you can see up there, social science research methods, sustainable heritage management, sustainable tourism, which is a 10 credit, the economics of circular tourism, wildlife tourism, environmental responsibility, innovation and technology, and sustainable tourism, and so on. We, by the way, in the summer period, and I'm talking effectively around May through to August, we do a dissertation, or you could possibly do a work placement as well. The dissertation is around 13,000 words, and that's certainly would happen on this program, and it would also happen with the Adam Smith Business School program. So that's what you would do over the summer. With the Adam Smith, by the way, I'm going backwards here, sorry to confuse you. Confusing Amy as well, and that's really bad news. But you also have an opportunity to work on a project if you're on the Management Sustainable Tourism up in Glasgow with the Adam Smith Business School. which is very popular, or you can do a dissertation with them as well. Nevertheless, if you chose to be in Dumfries, and there's nothing wrong with that, it's a lovely part of the world, as Amy will tell you. If you choose to stay in Dumfries, you can do our dissertation, and you will be supervised by one member of the team that you've already seen here. Careers I see here, and I might as well start mentioning them now. Right with you, Amy, is it? You're in charge of it. Jolly good, because it might have happened later and you never really know. Loads of stuff you can do within tourism, public and private sectors, as it says up there, tour companies, heritage attractions, museums, hotel groups, specific jobs, such as a policy officer, destination manager, that's a tourism destination, sustainability assessor, a doctoral researcher. If you want to stay in academia, you don't have to do a doctorate. You could do another master's or whatever you want, really. You could teach maybe in schools as well, if that's your inclination, or you can go on to university or college work. There are an awful lot. There's a lot of work in the private sector, I would say, as well. You could even start up your own consultancy, for example. Plenty of people do. So there you go. Next, please. Okay, the third program, Tourism and Heritage, the new one. So in the first semester, you do Tourism and Regional Development, Heritage Interpretation and Development. That's the core courses. You'd also have an optional, which might be, off the top of my head, Wildlife Tourism or Economics and Circular Tourism. They're the two options in semester one. But you're going to stay for another semester in glorious Dumfries. And you can do semester two. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do, of which I will remember, and I will tell you right now. You could probably do tourism marketing and tourism sustainability and climate change, as well as an option as well. So there's a number of things. You also would end up doing the dissertation in the summer period with one of us, or potentially a work placement. I've already told you about dissertations and work placement. Just as a reminder, when you leave the world of university, which will be a very sad time, of course, but you go into the world of work, making good money. You can either work in the public sector or the private sector, which we very briefly mentioned. And here's a bit more specific things like national government agency, local tourist boards, local government posts, heritage centres, education, and so on. Then heritage attractions, travel agents, tour companies, consultancy, hotel management, media organisations, and let's not forget related work in business or public sector. Plenty of my students have gone on to related work, maybe to do with marketing, maybe working for the government, using the skills they've acquired and their knowledge as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I'm going to talk a little bit now about scholarship opportunities that we have. So we have a fantastic tool at the University of Glasgow on our website, and you'll be able to go onto glasgow.ac.uk/scholarships. You can put in lots of eligibility criteria, like what level you're studying, specific programs, where you are in the world, and it will generate a list for you, not exclusively, an exclusive list, there's lots of opportunities out there, but a very good list about internal and external scholarship opportunities. And we're really proud just to share with you just now about this specific tourism scholarship for our students who might be joining us from Indonesia, for the MSc Sustainable Tourism and Global Challenges Programme, or the MSc Management and Sustainable Tourism Programme as well. All the award criteria and the eligibility criteria are available on our website, but you can head over to glasgow.ac.uk/scholarships or use that QR code there to find out a little bit more about this specific scholarship for these programmes. While you're on our website, have a little look at our student stories as well. You can find out lots more about what life is really like here at the Dumfries Campus and our school from those who know best, and that is our students themselves. We have lots of videos, blogs, articles, stories, all written and produced by our students to tell us a little bit more about what they get up to, not only in their studies, but outside of university life as well, and alumni stories from those who have graduated and gone on to the working world as well. And on that, just a final note about careers and employability. As we mentioned, there's so many options that tourism programs can give you in the working world. We have specific careers and employability web pages for each one of our programs here at the school. You can use the QR code or the website on your screens just now, bit.ly at pgt-careers. You can go on and find out lots more about things like salaries or expected working hours and week patterns, how to get into specific careers, any current opportunities there are in the world right now, and lots more information about the support we offer at the University of Glasgow as well. And that is all from us for now. Thank you so much, Don. I'm going to go now to our wonderful students who are joining us here today. We've got Sofia from our Sustainable Tourism and Global Challenges programme, and we've got Priya here from our Environmental Science and Sustainability programme. So, Sofia, could we start with you, please? Would you mind introducing yourself a little bit, telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, of course. So, well, I'm Sofia. I come from Mexico, so it's a long way back here. I'm studying Sustainable Tourism and Global Challenges. I'm a postgraduate, okay? And it has been purely amazing, the whole experience.
That is wonderful to hear. Thank you so much, Sophia. And we'll go to you, Priya, now.
Hi, everyone. I'm Priya. I'm a third-year environmental science and sustainability student here at the Dumfries Campus of the University of Glasgow, and I'm from India. And just like Sophia, my almost 3 years here have been pretty great.
That is amazing to hear. Thank you both so much for joining us today. We have so many questions to get through. Thank you so much to everyone for sending them in. So we're going to go with our first question here now. What sort of assessments are used? Now, I feel like everyone on the panel here has some sort of opinion on this one. Shall we start with you, Sophia? What assessment types have you experienced so far on your program?
Sure. So the first one that comes to my mind is actually we have to do a lot of research. We definitely have to read a lot. And all that information that we gathered, we put it, whether it's a report, like an industry report, or like an essay as well. Basically, we are gonna be like, we have been doing a lot of reading, which is fine. I definitely loved it. And it actually helped us to, assess or like to really strengthen our critical thinking regarding all the academic information that we have, access to, which nowadays it's a lot.
No, definitely. And Priya, yourself, you've got 3 years now worth of assessment so far. How have you found the experience?
Experience so far has been really good. All my classes and lectures and everything has been really great. In terms of assessments, we had an exam in the first year. We used just for 2 subjects, but other than that, our assignments usually, our assessments were in the form of assignments such as essays, or just like Sophia said, scientific reports, for which you need to do lots and lots of reading and research. So starting early is always a good thing for that. And case studies, things like that. And also, we studied this subject called GIS, which our assessment, but it wasn't particularly an essay. We had to do like a practical assignment of using GIS ourselves and had to show how we did that. So yes, those are the kind of assessments that have been used so far in my course.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. And I suppose, Don, from a lecturer's perspective, you go through quite a lot to craft the right assessment for each course. And how important is it for you to get that variety and that mix?
Well, I just want to add to, I want our audience to be clear that as far as I know, the tourism programs do not include exams per se. Need to be clear about that. Mm-hmm. All right. The other thing that they do include, which hasn't been mentioned, is something like an oral presentation. And that might be only 20%. It normally is maximum 20%. We know some people are rather shy about talking, and obviously they might feel it's a second language disadvantage, but actually we try and be very understanding. And certainly I respect absolutely people who are talking in not their first language, but English, which is their second or sometimes even third language. So we give them every bit of encouragement, but we do often have presentations which make up 20% of the assessment, certainly on mine and many of the others. But to my knowledge, we don't have written exams in our programs. There might be one hidden somewhere, but I don't know of it. Now, in the environmental ones and the more sort of geography and scientific oriented, certainly they do have written exams. but some people are a bit worried about written exams, but we don't do them. I would also remind people out there, and even some of our students, that there's a dissertation, and some people have never done a dissertation. It's not, in simple language, it's a very, very big essay. Okay? It'd be a bit scary at first. Could be 12,000 words, could be even more. 12 to 13,000 words, really, we ask for in tourism. But like I say, a big essay, quite well structured. And depending what you do, it depends on the type of research. Don't get too preoccupied with research methods. We don't always say you absolutely have to do quantitative or anything. You don't worry about that. Often we do quantitative, or even more popular, we'll do secondary research, which means library-based research. You can look up on the internet, you get your information from secondary sources in the library. People have already done the hard slogging, all right, discovering it, and we just use it. And there's nothing really wrong with that. You've got to use their material. But I just want to confirm that because it's the sort of thing that worries potential students.
No, absolutely. That's really helpful. Thank you so much. We'll go on to our next question here. And okay, we'll go to Sofia first for this one. Are there opportunities to gain hands-on experience, such as internships or field trips? What's your experience been so far?
So far, I have definitely gone to quite a bunch of field trips. Absolutely. It's really interesting. The most recent one that I got was to go to the Edinburgh Zoo. And we actually got to, meet their sustainability department that they have, and it's a whole structure. And it was just super cool to actually see people, that are like currently working on like what you are aiming on.
Yeah.
And from that side, like I just never imagined that actual zoo will have that department and that it will have been so developed. So it was, it kind of like tingles you and like gets you more excited about like what's upcoming for your future.
Yeah, of course. That's so wonderful to hear. Thank you so much for sharing. I mean, Priya, Don, anything you'd like to add here on hands-on experience?
Well, I'll just very briefly say, yeah, we've always encouraged field trips. And I thought Sophia was going to say you're going to meet a chimpanzee or a panda or something, which is equally interesting. But I don't know about sustainable, probably sustainable. But yeah, we've always encouraged that. And we know the students love them. And they really need to get out and see what's happening in the practical world in terms of sustainability and wildlife and what's really happening, and heritage. We always do on the programs that I lead and the other ones. So you might look at a castle, or you might look at an outdoor. We go to the Wildlife and Wetland Trust down the road, where they got 40,000 geese, by the way. If you like birds, that's the place to go. As well as looking local towns. This is an amazing region, as Amy has already told you. And it really is fascinating. It's got some wonderful little towns with their own distinct personalities, like Artist Town, Food Town, Book Town, Granite Town, I think, and a whole bunch of other things. So yeah, and I'm sure our colleagues have got other ideas to add, and I'll let them do so right now.
No, of course. I mean, Priya, you're on your work placement right now, aren't you? How does that? I mean, Sophia's talking about that sense of really getting to see where you could fit into the working world and your career. How is that for you on your work placement?
Well, I'm working as part of my placement, I'm working at the Nith Catchment Fishery Trust in Aldgirth. So I work at a fishery, and so far I've been there for a month now, and so far it's been really good. I'm very glad I chose placement because it definitely gave me an idea of like what it's like when you go out and actually are working, as part of an organization, what it entails. I don't think I would have ever, I wouldn't have known what to expect if I didn't do that. So I'm very grateful for that. And as part of field trips, as part of my course, I had many field trips for almost every subject or class that I've had so far in all these 3 years. And speaking of tourism, I had a tourism class as well in the first semester of third year. And that's the last field trip I went to as part of the course. And we went foraging in Kingham Quay, and also in, like Donna said, in Kirlebrook in the Wetland Centre. So that was pretty nice. Yes, our our university, our lecturers are always emailing us about not just placement opportunities that we can have, but also places where we can volunteer at during the summer, and whatever internships there. We always get emails about whatever internships they have with the university, or what other organizations outside of the university are providing. So there's lots of hands-on experience, and we get all the information that we need always about those things. So that's pretty good.
That is fantastic to hear. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing. That's so wonderful. We've got a next question here. Okay, Priya, I'm going to come to you first this time. Why did you choose to study at the University of Glasgow? Big question.
So I was very invested in environmental science when I became more aware of the global challenges that we were having in the world, in nature, and just the critical state our planet is in. So I was really concerned about that. So I wanted to look in. I just felt like I wasn't as educated about it as I wanted to be. So that's what I wanted to study in university, and I've chose Scotland because I've always loved Scotland for its history and the architecture here. It's so great. So that's why I chose Scotland, and I looked into the best universities in Scotland that can teach environmental science and sustainability as well. And Glasgow University was in the lead in terms of its ranking for environmental science and sustainability. So that's why I chose that.
That is great. Thank you so much. And Sophia, what about yourself?
Before actually, start to studying my master's, I did have around 5 years working in the tourism industry. So I definitely catch the necessity of turning tourism into a more sustainable matter.
Yes.
So I was definitely interested in that. And I knew I wanted to study abroad. So when I started doing my research, not a lot of universities came up. So University of Glasgow program definitely caught my heart, my eye, and it has been definitely everything that I have been expecting regarding sustainable tourism and global challenges.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. Thank you both so much for sharing. That's great to hear. We have a next question here for you two again, for sure. What is the community like in Dumfries? What do you do outside of class? So we've talked about this a little bit, already, but I mean, for yourself, Sophia, should we go to you first? What do you like to get up to outside of class when you have a break?
Sure. I'm actually living in a uni accommodation. Mm-hmm. So what we like to do is that a bunch of the students like to go out to the town, whether it's to try a new coffee shop or to get to a new shop that we didn't, got to meet at the first months, or there's also a lot of club reunions. Depending, for example, there's a climate key change club where they definitely touch a lot of sustainable topics and current challenges that the world is facing, and it's really cool to converge with those type of persons because they definitely have a different insight from what they are actually experiencing in their country from what am I experiencing from mine. So we basically like to hang a lot outside in Dumfries.
No, I love that. Priya, what about yourself? What do you get up to?
Well, I usually like to go for walks when I have free time. If it's during, if it's during the semester, whenever I get a couple on the weekends, I like to go for walks. There's beautiful trails all in Dumfries. Even if you just go for a walk from uni into town, it's such a nice place. But my friends and I, we like to do outdoor activities like hiking, and you can always go to maybe Forest or the Galway Forest Park. So outdoor activities definitely. And like Sophia said, we love to try all the things that are in town, if there's a new coffee shop or anywhere. But Dumfries is definitely it's a very close-knit community. You go to a place regularly enough and you just get to know everybody there. So it's easier to make friends. It's nice to make friends that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of outdoor activities. I go to church where I've made friends as well. But my friends like different pubs which they enjoy. So things like that. But there's lots of things to go and do around Dumfries. It's a play town with lots of history and culture, very enjoyable. And I also, outside of Dumfries, because it's my first time in Scotland, I like to make the most of it. So my friends and I like to plan a trip, like to go to Edinburgh or Glasgow for a day or two or for the weekend. So.
I love that. That sounds great. Thank you both so much. I think we've got time for just one more question here. And this is one for you, Don, initially, I think. Are there opportunities to get involved with tourism research activity in the school? So can our students get involved in our research?
I think you really have to ask the individual people, the individual academics. We do have, as I've said, one very big research cluster doing the Just Tour project, and I know that they've invited one student, and we've yet to see who it's going to be, to write their dissertation with them. So it's a real cutting edge research project. So this year there has been absolutely one chance already. They're taking on some PhD students as well. They have done two quite recently. So you never know, there could be openings in the future just in that particular one cluster.
Yeah, no, of course. And even if I suppose you can't directly get involved with the research, there's lots of opportunities. For example, the Just Tour project has the Just Tour seminar series that runs online. They have guest speakers from around the world come and talk about issues in tourism. We have the Solway seminar series on campus as well, which people can come and hear direct from lecturers, from researchers about their most up-to-date research as well. So I think there's definitely, like you say, if there's not necessarily the opportunity to be directly involved in the research itself, there's those kind of peripheral opportunities to still be involved and in the conversation.
I mean, what you've got to really understand is that people like me, academic researchers, we're ongoing, we're always doing research. I've just come back from the Canary Islands. I don't want to show off about it because it's nice and sunny and everything, and people start getting a bit jealous. But I was actually looking at senior tourism, people of, let's say, over 55, and there's huge impact, suddenly massive transformation, as well as things like the sustainability of the place, the fishing community, whale watching, all that sort of stuff. And I talk about it in the classroom, all right, to my students, and I update them and I tell them what's really going on right now. And I know my colleagues do the same. So almost all of them are research active. So you will know about absolutely cutting edge research in tourism in the classroom, because we're academics and we're fascinating with the subject, so we will discuss it, and we will ask you, students from all over the world, and you've got loads of experience and knowledge as well, and we will ask you what's going on where you live, because that's interesting to us as well as the other students, and we can all inform and educate each other in actual fact and find out a little bit more. So yeah, research is very much in our lives.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I think that's a fantastic place to end as well. I mean, that's wonderful to hear. And thank you all so much for joining us today. If anyone watching would like any further information about our campus or our school, you can go to glasgow.ac.uk/Dumfries, find out lots more information, including everything about our student stories, our scholarships, accommodation, or just life in general in Dumfries. But for now, I will say thank you so much, Don, Priya, Sofia. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for your wonderful contributions and your answers to our questions. I really hope everyone watching has found this useful, and we very much hope to see you on campus in the near future. And we'll say goodbye for now. Thank you again. Bye.
Bye.